In our last video, we showed you how to install Joomla, and it was shown in two ways. One way, install Joomla with sample data, and the second way, install Joomla totally empty. For this tutorial, we'll continue with the installation where the sample data was installed. As you can see on this website, this is the completely installed Joomla website with sample data. And at first glance, everything seems to be working. We click on menus and everything works. But my experience has learned that once we go and install extensions in the administration backend, we can face certain problems. So what we'll need to do is a thorough check of our administration part and see if our install was totally correct. To go to the Joomla administration, the easiest way is to copy the website address, open up a new window, paste your address, and behind that write administrator, as you can see there. You will get a login window. Of course, the username is admin, and the password is the password that you put in during the installation process. As you can see, we can also choose our language. I will keep it on default, and we click on login. The first thing we notice is when we enter the Joomla administration part, we have a bunch of convenient icons in which we can use to immediately add a new article and add a new user or adjust the global configuration. But that is not the main purpose why we are here yet. We want to look at some common installation problems. And the problem I will now show you, I've seen users that have been working with Joomla 3-4 years now. I've seen those problems still appear at their installation. I've worked for companies and did their Joomla installations, and after a local employee was working on it, and I saw some very simple yet very problematic things in their installation. To do our first installation check is by going to the Help menu and then going to System Info. Here we see a bunch of files, and we do not necessarily need to go through all. Most of it is really info, but a very important one is directory permissions. Why do we need directory permissions? At a later stage, we would like to install third-party extensions. Say that you want a kind of a download manager. That is often done through a component, and a component sometimes has modules and plugins. And if we would like to install those, certain folders in our installation need to have the correct permissions, which are called here directory permissions. So I will click that. And immediately we notice the things in red, which say unwritable. And this list of directory permissions shows all folders that need to be writable. So as you can see, I have a complete list of wrong directory permissions, and it's of essence that we make the status of these folders, that we make them writable. How can we do that? Again, we will need our FTP application. So I will start up FileZilla again. I have my connection already in my site manager, so I'll go to joomtorial. Go to where your Joomla installation is at. So here you have all the folders, and then for each and every folder, in this case the folder administration backups is unwritable and I need to make it writable. So how can I do that? Here's my administrator folder, I go into that and there is my backups folder. How can I make it writable? I do a right click and at the bottom of the list is file permissions. I will change that and here you can see it has all kinds of values and what we'll need to do is we need to make the group permission and the public permission writables and we only want to do it on folders, so don't be tempted to also check recurs into subdirectories. It's of essence, it's only done to that folder. So I can click on the checkboxes. I could also fill in the numeric value 777, which is the same as what you see above. Then I click on OK. And when I go back to my website and I would refresh the page, and I go back to directory permissions, there you can see that now my backups folder is writable. And we need to do that for every folder that is listed. So administrator components, I will show you. Here we have the component folder, file permissions. I both check the write permissions. I click on OK. I refresh my page. And of course, that's not something you need to do. And again, here you can see that the status is now writable. So it is the case that you need to do that for each and every folder that has been listed here. I have now gone through all the folders and set all the directory permissions. And as you can see, the status of each and every folder is now green and writable. So our Joomla installation is now totally correct and all the directory permissions are correct as well. So now we have a completely properly installed Joomla website, which on the front side is showing us the content and on the back end is showing the correct permissions, and now it's time to start working in Joomla.